1580 is dedicated to empowering our communities by providing progressive talk radio for our audience. We strive to be an intersectional voice for the voiceless. As a Black-owned and operated station, we are committed to highlighting diverse perspectives and creating safe spaces for meaningful dialogue. We believe that everyone has something unique to bring to these political, economic, social, and cultural conversations, and we don't shy away from the hard conversations about current events. We endeavor to be a beacon of hope and understanding, while boldly challenging listeners to think more deeply about difficult topics that impact us all. With this in mind, our mission statement at KBLA Talk 1580 is simple: to create an inclusive platform that promotes civil discourse through honest dialogue and encourages personal growth among our listeners, so they can become the active agents of change. Our vision is to establish ourselves as the premier radio network with relevant programming across the beloved community, connecting people through shared experiences and collective power for lasting impact beyond these challenging times.
I love I'll Be Sure.
Oh yeah. Give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to me.
You are listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580, home of the chair dancers, because we get it in VIP. And now we are on last call after hours. It is the last hour, and this is where we get a little lower. We're a little more loose, because it is the last hour of the night. We get into some interesting topics. Of course, I mentioned we're going to have our Tubi movie reviews. Trent and I checked out some of your suggestions. We got more into the Hoochie Daddies episode.
Or at least tried to.
Or at least attempted to. Yeah. I checked out an episode halfway, kind of The Dirty D. That is one of the top series on Tubi, apparently. So we're going to get into that. But before we do all that, we have to talk about Travis Scott. And we know Travis is Kylie Jenner's ex. They have 2 children together, right? And they have since broken up. Travis has a concert scheduled at Egypt's Giza pyramids. Yeah, it's supposed to be coming up next month, I believe, later this month. And there's a little problem, though. Egyptian officials don't want it to go down. And so Egypt's syndicate of musical professionals are suing Travis Scott, hoping that his event gets canceled. Basically, they got on TV, and what they are alleging is that their decision to sue Travis ahead of his highly anticipated event is that he's putting out satanic practices. He claims that Scott has a black record, that the superstar is spreading global Freemasonry and rewriting Egyptian history. Additionally, he alleged that Travis's show, he said it was canceled. The singer has a black record. He's known to be a staunch supporter of global Freemasonry and the Afrocentric organization that opposes Egyptian identity and heritage. We have taken all legal measures to prevent this show, the lawyer said. In his shows, the American rapper performs a range of satanic rites, they are accusing him. The well-being of Egyptian citizens is more important than us holding such a show, and justifying it, saying that we need to invigorate tourism. So, having heard that, Trent, what do you think? Do you think that they will be successful? And do you think that that is what Travis is doing, that they have a point?
I cannot speak to anyone's beliefs, what they do, rituals, or anything like that. I think, honestly, what they are worried about is an astral world type event happening on sacred ground.
Okay.
And for that reason, they have every right to try to prevent it, because that is sacred territory. Why would you even want to have a concert there anyway? It's
attention, more people wanting to attend. It's something that has never been done before. It's sold out. Just so it's sold, and I'm
I'm
sorry,
sure it
it's
is.
July 28th, and it's supposed to be live streamed as well.
I think that they will probably be successful
In shutting down the
in
concert.
stopping the concert.
I mean, it's been an interesting year for Travis.
I think it's too soon for him to be out and trying to do festivals and all. Even though he was cleared from,
he was cleared from that suit.
he was
I
cleared.
think.
He
Yeah.
was cleared from it. But I think what people in any situation when you go through something like that, as traumatic as it was, and everything surrounded it, you should really take time to sit down and just chill for a minute.
I mean, but he has. It's been a couple of years.
It's been about 3 years, I think.
So, I mean, how much longer
5.
does he need? 5?
He,
Why
he,
that
he
number?
needs no 5 total. He needs a couple more years.
Why though? Why is 5 a good number?
You know,
and not
because
3?
because of everything that is going on in the world right now, the climate, all the changes, just politically, socially, economically, it's just a nice time to sit down and not be extra, especially at the pyramids where, all sorts of things have happened before our time. And, it's also, we got to think about this now. They could be trying to prevent him from doing some type of ritual on the grounds where some stuff happened.
Sounds like a plot to a movie.
It
Andy,
does. It's a
what you
scheme
got
that
to say?
Todd set up.
It's quite interesting that this would be the location that he pretty much reemerges. And
Great point.
there's already speculation about the type of music that he presents, the performances. Even with the whole Stampede last time, a lot of people talked about how they felt negative vibes, negative energies, and stuff like that. I guess there was I don't know what you want to call it, like a monument with like a mouth or something like that where people could walk through
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So you hear these things in the music industry, and quite frankly, man, you can't play with them type of stuff. I mean, you have somebody like a Damson Idris. I know he's an actor as opposed to a musician, but you got these entertainers. You don't know what they believe in, and I just find it quite interesting that he's gonna pick Egypt of all places. Quite frankly, I hear where Egypt is coming from, and
You're not mad at it.
I'm not mad at it. I get it.
Okay, I feel that. Well, really quickly, I wanted to look to see astrologically if there was anything going on as far as with any type of transits or, retrogrades or anything like that. So, July 23rd, Venus does go into retrograde. That's in Leo. But Friday, July 28th, Mercury enters its home sign of Virgo on that day. So there are some transits happening, and that can have helping to undo some adverse effects on communication caused by the Venus retrograde. So there is something happening astrologically, if that is your jam, going on that could be tied significantly to why he picked that date for the concert at the pyramids. We've all seen movies like Raiders of the Lost Ark or The Mummy, where some light hits at exact moment when the stars are in the sky and lights up the pyramid and starts some chain of motion, some chain of events into motion. So I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just putting that out there. But this is what the Egyptian authorities are saying. They're trying to stop it, and they are accusing him of being satanic.
What was the name of his last album?
Ooh, that's a great question. I do not remember because
Astro World.
Astro World. Yeah, it was. Here's my thing with Travis. Like, there are songs that I like, but I am not like into him like that, so I don't really know what the vibe is. I do know that he has a habit of not showing his face, which is strange to me. So, there's all types of ways you can go and dial into things of that nature. So what type of sorcery, maybe?
I know some people who really don't like his music because, he has the whole like that chopped and screwed that, they're all.
Okay.
And some people who might not be familiar to his music, if they listen to that,
They think
first
it sounds
time,
like demonic, yeah.
Absolutely.
Because it's like back in the day on the Purple Rain soundtrack at the end of Darlin' Nikki, where Prince had the song going backwards at there, and you could literally spin it backward and play what it was saying. You could slow it up and spin it around, and it was very emotional for people. People really thought that there was something going down with that. So listen, we don't know, have to see, but there is something happening astrologically during Astroworld's performance at the Giza Pyramid.
I'm not
So
fooling with it.
we'll have to see. I mean, I wasn't anyway, but there you go. So Trent, before we get into these Tubi reviews, I have a couple of other little trending topics I want to touch on. So Stephen A. Smith put out a tweet earlier today saying, "Look for me on Friday, folks. I'll be addressing all things I need to address back on the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast and then live on First Take Monday morning. See you in a minute. Buckle up." Shannon Sharp responded saying, "What you addressing on Friday? I've got some free time, so feel free to FaceTime me before my meetings," and a bunch of popcorn emojis. So do you think Shannon is soliciting for a job, riding the wave, or do you think that it is a possibility that Shannon and Stephen A are going to link up on ESPN for a very, very loud experience? What say you?
The latter. I think that something is getting ready to happen, and it's about to be explosive and chaos and drama. In a good way.
In a good way?
In a good way.
Andy, what about you?
I'm highly concerned.
Why are you concerned?
So I'm a First Take junkie.
Okay.
I was a Undisputed junkie. Still am.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. How you gonna tell me what I am?
Because you don't know who is replacing.
No. I'm talking about just before.
Okay.
And I'm gonna still continue to watch.
But you're not
'Cause I
going to
rock
be
with
a
Skip.
junkie.
I am gonna be a junkie.
Okay. We'll see.
You got to understand. I was rocking with First Take before Stephen A. jumped on.
Right.
So
when it was.
I still rock with Skip Bayless.
Okay.
But my concern is if Shannon Sharp and Stephen A. tag team together, I feel like they agree on too many topics.
They're
in my
similar.
opinion. They're too similar. And I'm just concerned. I don't know if it will have the magic like Skip and Shannon or like Stephen A. and Skip. Two black men, as you said, allowed. I just don't know. I just don't know if it'll work out.
I like Stephen A. and JJ Redick. I like that dynamic. That is very interesting to me. It's entertaining. I like the way JJ pushes back. He unfolds his arguments in a different way that we've seen. He very much uses X's and O's, but he still has that wit, those zingers that we like to see. So I appreciate that. I even like, on occasion, country boy Kendrick Perkins. Sometimes his takes are like, "Kendrick, what you talking about?" But Kendrick is fun. So I feel like First Take is in good hands. I don't really think that they need to do a whole lot. I think since they sort of parted ways with Max, I believe that the show actually improved by having a variety of people in that second chair with different opinions and just bringing different type of energy. I think that was good for them. I really think that Undisputed, one of the things that I said before all of these explosive allegations came forward was that the show was starting to drag because I felt like they didn't inject enough guests into the mix. It was starting to get stale for me, especially considering that they ride a few topics very hard, based off of Skip's preferences. So if we're going to get Lakers, which I'm a Laker fan, I don't mind, but I would like to hear a new opinion to the mix. I enjoyed when they would have Jimmy Jackson call in. I know we're getting a little into the weeds, but I'm just saying, I don't know if Skip and I don't know if Shannon and Stephen A together would be a great thing to me. I don't think that I would love that, but we'll have to see. Also bubbling, your guy Floyd was on a spending spree, right? Recently, he dropped $7 million in the Gucci store in South Africa, and he had to have bodyguards and security escort him out of the store. So I got a question for you. Is there anything that you could imagine wanting to purchase in Gucci that would require you to drop $7 million?
Money Mayweather. I'm not questioning.
And I know he got it.
Yeah, I'm not questioning his, the abilities. And when you have a flock and a stable as large as his, you might need 7 of everything, and we don't know how much that costs. So, more power to him.
$7 million.
Everybody ain't
That's
able.
a lot of Gucci. I mean, was there anything left on the shelves at that point?
We buy at the store, and you got 5 of everything for everybody.
Right, all the girlfriends get matching. See, here's the thing, though. If you're in an entourage like that with someone like him who's just obviously going to buy in bulk, I don't want the same gift because then you're out there looking like twinsies and stuff like that.
Or
Switch it up.
you guys have something in common because you are the only ones with these exclusive pieces that no one else has.
Look at you trying to turn a frown upside down, Trent.
Because you bought it all out. And nobody got it but you.
Okay. Well, when we come forward, we're going to get into Lamar Odom and his new business opportunity. We're going to line up. Listen, it's a good thing.
I love Lamar.
Okay. We're going to talk about Netflix and their earnings increase and why. What's going on with that. And we're going to get into these two Tubi movies that we mentioned because, baby, I got to talk to y'all about your recommendations. All that and more. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Trending topics and the hottest happenings. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Los Angeles Urban League helps African American and others in underserved communities achieve true social parity, economic self-reliance, and civil rights. For over 100 years, Los Angeles Urban League has ensured our communities have access to careers with living wages, opportunities to start and grow businesses, and clear pathways to personal and professional growth. Programs like BizCamp, Construction Career Academy, Bob Business Ready, and B-Warp. The Black Wealth Attainment and Retention Program are examples of the ongoing events designed to make our centennial mission to rebuild Black Wall Street right here in LA a reality. To sign up for our newsletter or to support the Los Angeles Urban League with your time, talent, and donations, visit laul.org. That's laul.org. The Los Angeles Urban League is a proud sponsor of Urban Family Focus, Saturdays at 7 a.m. on KBLA Talk 1580.
Ew, gotta get rid of this old Backstreet Boys t-shirt.
Tell me why.
Because it stinks, boys.
Tell me why.
I've washed it so many times, but the odor won't come out.
Tell me why.
No, you tell me why I can't get rid of this odor.
Have you tried new Downy Rinse and Refresh? It doesn't just cover up odors, it helps remove them.
Wow, it worked, guys.
Yeah.
Downy Rinse and Refresh removes more odor in one wash than the leading value detergent in 3 washes. Find it wherever you buy laundry products.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 joins you in standing for education as a right, not a privilege. Charles R. Drew University of Medicine and Science is a private, non-profit, community-founded, student-centered university committed to cultivating diverse health profession leaders who are dedicated to social justice and health equity for underserved populations. CDU does this through outstanding education, clinical service, and community engagement. Recently, Charles Drew University made history by opening only the 5th medical school at an historically black university. Congratulations, South LA, and congratulations to the dean of the medical school, Dr. Deborah Protho-Stith. CDU is now training doctors and providing $90 million in annual economic benefit to Watts and surrounding neighborhoods. To apply for medical school, get more information, or sign your child up for the Junior Doctors Saturday School program, visit cdrewu.edu. That's cdrewu.edu. At KBLA, we are dedicated to equity in education and ending healthcare apartheid, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, it's Jill Munroe. You have just stepped behind the velvet rope into the after hours portion of the show. Welcome to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Now, before we came forward, I mentioned that we were going to shout out Lamar Odom and his new business venture. But before we do that, we want to shout out Pretty Brown Mimi, who stayed up some more in the chat. Thank you once again for rocking with us. We are sending you out blessings to you and your mom. We hope that everything is okay with that situation. We really do appreciate you at the station, always checking in, always keeping the chat lit. Now, if you want to be involved and get like Mimi and be Uber VIP, you can either head over to YouTube and get into the chat right now or hit us up on the phone lines, 800-920-1580. Now, on to this Lamar Odom news. We know Lamar has been making headlines over the past few years for not exactly the right reasons, right? But Lamar has found a new business venture to get into, one that I think is sweet and very, worthwhile. Lamar said that he was inspired to get into this business because of the situation with his 90-year-old grandmother. He said that as she started getting older and her health started failing, she was alone in the apartment that she had lived in for the majority of her adult life, like 50 or 60 years, and that a barrier to her getting into one of these better senior centers was the financial impact. His grandmother, I guess, apparently is a little proud. She didn't want to leave her space. The senior centers was very expensive. So Lamar has bought a group of senior living centers to make them affordable and accessible for all. The first ones he bought, one is in Long Beach, the other one, another Southern California region, and he has plans to spread it throughout the country to make sure that seniors, one, don't have to spend their latter years alone, two, aren't priced out of good health care, and three, that they are able to maintain some type of dignity in those times where things start to change. So we spend a lot of time throwing jokes at Lamar Odom, and for a lot of it, he takes it and he eats it. So when he's doing something good, he does know why, and that's why it rides. But
that's why I laughed at him the first time. It wasn't because of the venture; it was because it was Lamar.
I mean, and conversely, though, when something good is happening for him, I want to give just as much focus and highlight on it as well. So shout out to Lamar Odom for taking care and standing up for a group of people that are often overlooked or cast to the side and viewed as not important. So shout out to him for that.
We need the geriatric society.
Absolutely. Now, before we get into these Tubi recommendations, and if you guys have Tubi recommendations for Trent and I for next week, put them in the chat. Hit us up on social media at Stiletto Jill, at Trent the Artist, everywhere, and let us know. But we're going to talk about the suggestions that you gave us from last week. Well, there was one suggestion. The other one was my suggestion that someone else gave. First of all, Pretty Brown Mimi says, check out Cinnamon on Tubi. You can't go wrong with Pam Grier and Damon Wayans. I did hear that both of them were in that. I heard that it was a pretty good film, so we will add that to the list for next week.
I watched the trailer because I saw actually an advertisement on Twitter for it, and I was like, what is this, another Tubi thing? And I was like, you know me. I was like, let me just go and not be a hater, a Tubi hater, and go check it out. And the preview was really good and decent, and I'm going to watch that for sure.
So I read the summary of it, and I like the sound of it. Obviously, I like Pam Grier. She's an icon.
Legend, yes.
Legend, the way that she stood up and represented. Damon Wayans.
Legend.
Another legend. Listen, the Wayans family, to me, don't get enough flowers for what they have done as far as comedy, their contributions from the 80s on. Like, for you to be able to put that many members of your family into the game and still be rocking 30 plus years later.
And to be naturally funny.
Content on all different levels, small screen, big screen, just, again, knocking down generations. Salute to them.
And they're genuinely nice people. They're very, very nice people. I love that family. Like, I love them a lot.
So big up to the Wayans family. So we will check that out. Now, last week we were given 2 suggestions. One was a carryover. We mentioned last week that it was sent to me, saw the trailer, put Trent up on game about it, even put Andy up on game about it. Andy had to pass, and that is Hoochie Daddies. Well, Trent has now watched episode 1. So I would like your thoughts on episode 1, season 1 of Hoochie Daddies Jacksonville.
Well, let me just say I got through 30 minutes. There's 39 minutes, so I got through the majority of it. Wow. Wow, and wow. All I can say is wow. That's
not descriptive enough.
Here I'm trying to be cool, and I'm trying to remember where I am and whose house that I'm at. Shout out to Tavis. I'm at Tavis's house, so you can't look, I'm trying to be cool here, and I'm trying to, we have an audience, and I'm keeping the audience who I'm talking to in mind, so I'm trying to present it in the way that they digest it and get it, while also not being rude and exposing myself at the same. There's a lot going on up here, just like there was a lot going on with Hoochie Daddies. I mean, I don't know if I should start it with the X tape over the breastplates.
So here's
or
the thing.
what?
That is a movement. And I mentioned this last week about Sam J, that she had a whole segment on her comedy late night show, Pause with Sam J, about how a certain segment of lesbians want to be topless. They want that right. They are getting top removal surgery. And in the meantime, like the boys, they want to walk around shirts off, sagging, and do what they do.
It's a lot. First of all, shout out to the lesbians. I love the lesbian community. It's trust me, I do. I love the lesbians.
I should remind you that the winner of Hoochie Daddy is basically, the top stud. That is the language they use. Of Jacksonville. They are not from Jacksonville. They get a chain and a vacation to the Bahamas.
To Jamaica, I think.
Jamaica or the Bahamas?
It's one of them.
Okay, tropical.
Yeah, it's a lot, and here's the thing. It's the gay and black conversation, it's very, very touchy, okay? It's a slippery slope. And we live in a time where we've got this gay agenda, hot topic, it's a layered thing. I think people should be able to express and be who they are. I think it's a conversation culturally that we need to have. However, it's for me, when you're calling yourself a stud king and a dyke god, and I get it, you're taking these negative words and you're turning around into something constructive and positive. It's kind of a hard pill to swallow for black people, because we've used these words, for a negative, thing, previously. So I think it's going to be kind of hard for, most black people to take this show serious, while also giving respect to a community that is demanding something and commanding it, but not necessarily doing things to get the respect that they're asking for. Because, the competition, it's a very it's interesting. It's a very interesting show. As I was watching it, I wanted to watch it and support, just for it's a black show, it's a gay show, sure, but the sound was off. And as a creator myself, it's like, I know about these small nuances, so I wanted to support and not let a horrible mic alter my ability to watch the show. But it was horrible. Like I couldn't get past it for like 20 minutes. It was like a force. And then everything else that came onto it, like you got the breast out and the tape over. It's like, what is going on here? It's like, dude, come on.
A great deal. Well, when we come forward, we will get into our other to-be selection of the week. That is the Dirty D. We will also talk about new music releases. There is a lot of music that is dropping this week on Friday, so we're going to talk a little bit about that. And we're going to get into just a little bit about... Well, we'll wait. I'll save that. Just make sure you tune in, because we have a lot of conversation to talk about. News and sports are up next. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
Infusing a sense of fun and entertainment in every episode. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.
I'm Esther Dillard, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Daily record highs are being set from parts of the West into Texas as the heat dome continues expanding. And there seems to be no relief, with Phoenix, Arizona registering the warmest low temp ever recorded at 97 degrees at 4 in the morning. Phoenix also broke a 49-year record for consecutive days of at least 110 degrees. Meantime, the air quality is improving for millions as smoke from the wildfires burning in Canada are starting to move out of the north and southeast U.S. The White House says it's working for the release of a black U.S. soldier after he allegedly crossed into North Korea. Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said the Biden administration is actively working to make sure 23-year-old U.S. Army Private Travis King will safely return. And that's the latest. I'm Esther Dillard from the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Boost your imagination with Audible. Listen to the biggest selection of audio entertainment, from celeb memoirs to motivation and more. Audiobooks, podcasts, and originals. There's more to imagine when we listen. Sign up for a free trial at audible.com.
KBLA Talk 1580 is dedicated to empowering our communities by providing progressive talk radio for our audience. We strive to be an intersectional voice for the voiceless. As a Black-owned and operated station, we are committed to highlighting diverse perspectives and creating safe spaces for meaningful dialogue. We believe that everyone has something unique to bring to these political, economic, social, and cultural conversations, and we don't shy away from the hard conversations about current events. We endeavor to be a beacon of hope and understanding, while boldly challenging listeners to think more deeply about difficult topics that impact us all. With this in mind, our mission statement at KBLA Talk 1580 is simple: to create an inclusive platform that promotes civil discourse through honest dialogue and encourages personal growth among our listeners, so they can become the active agents of change. Our vision is to establish ourselves as the premier radio network with relevant programming across the beloved community, connecting people through shared experiences and collective power for lasting impact beyond these challenging times.
You're listening to K-Drip, where we play all the best classic water-wasting hits like Watering Your Lawn During the Hottest Time of the Day and Leaky Faucets. They're tunes from another time, because now that we face a hotter, drier future, every drop counts. Despite an extremely wet winter, keep using less water, fixing leaks, and reusing indoor water for your garden. Visit SaveOurWater.com for more ways to conserve. Up next, brushing your teeth with the water on. K-Drip.
Meet Joe A, Joe B, and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with AutoSave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect. Support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase. Make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just 1 dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
KBLA Talk 1580 stands for Unity and Healing. African Focus Incorporated is a nonprofit organization based in California that focuses on the growth and well-being of Africans all around the world. Their mission is to promote the well-being of people of African descent through knowledge and appreciation of one another by building a bridge of love and understanding. African Focus Incorporated strives for cultural, educational, and economic growth. They're the organization behind the African Family Induction Ceremony, African Goodwill Awards, African Focus Trailblazer Tours, African Dance Competition, and Showcase Los Angeles, Family Day, Good News Windows Microfinance Project, and more. To volunteer, travel with African Focus, or to attend one of their community building events, please call 310-676-7730. That's 310-676-7300. Or visit africanfocus.org. This is a diaspora-wide community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. Curating the most compelling stories and delivering them straight to your ears. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yeah, another soul on soul. Yeah, production. Yeah. I stay soaked in foreign colognes. I keep dipped. Coogee sweaters hand knit, cause that's that fly shit. I stay laced because my body got Versace taste. Rolex on my cuff, flooded with diamonds and stuff. A half a dozen 100 Benz coupe in my driveway. Tried to have it my way, the flyway led to a bad day. I should have kept it real when I was with you. Instead I dissed you, so now I miss you.
True. Hey, come through with the Monifa and Heavy D. That's right.
Shout out to Monifa.
Okay, I can't sing, and I'm not even going to pretend to, but I definitely lip sync. And this is one of the jams. This video, I remember this video and everything. It's such a vibe. Great choice, Andy. Well, we have one of our VIPs in the building, once again, step behind the booth to share their thoughts on some of these topics. Mimi from Jacksonville hit us up again.
Welcome back.
Mimi, welcome back. What do you have to say?
Hi, Jill. I just wanted to say, Trent, what he was saying about Hoochie Daddy, it sounds like it might be my kind of show, kind of messy.
Yes.
And a little weird. But I want to say, on a serious note, when it comes to Tubi, I don't know who owns that network, but
Fox
I
does
watch
now.
it. Oh, Fox. Okay. Well, that explains. I just watch like Dateline NBC and streaming the news. And when I see the movies coming on, the music sounds kind of not great. So I thought, I don't know, is this going to be better than a Lifetime movie? Maybe. But I think what we're missing is good black content. If it's owned by Fox, get a bigger budget. A-list actors or maybe B-list actors, people that we know, people that have skills, and just high quality. And when it comes to the black community and LGBT, for me personally, I want a truer representation. I don't want I have to name a name, Billy Porter. I love Billy Porter, but he's just like the guy. And it's such a big community, and it goes from A to Z. You just can't keep giving us RuPaul and Billy Porter.
Thank you for saying that.
We need, and I love them both. But we need, everyone has, a lot of us have LGBT family and friends, and they're not doing that.
Yes.
They're just living their lives, doing their thing, and just black people as a whole, I just want real black people, real LGBT people. And if you have a bigger budget, maybe hire someone other than Claudia Jordan. I like her. But I'm just saying, that sounded shady, I know. But just somebody that's got acting skills. Not that she doesn't, but you know what I'm saying.
I understand.
Yeah.
What I will say is that what I appreciate about Tubi and independent films is that it gives people that may not have had traditional access an outlet to showcase their vision and to kind of grow with their audience. And I think that what we have learned and what we find is that every pot has a lid that comes with entertainment too. And what you hope is that the quality on some of those that you mentioned that is lesser, that they grow. And as they make more money and can do the things, like you said, get different types of talent, and that we'll see a difference. But I also think that it's nice that there is a place where if you are attempting to be an actor, an actress, young performer, music supervisor, that you can go someplace and actually get your stripes, get some training in, because we know it's very hard to break into mainstream Hollywood, So
that's true. I just have one request from Tubi and the other people like them, the other platforms. I don't really like the bait and switch. if this is going to be like Chocolate City, you know, beautiful black men, strippers, don't make me think it's going to be like, you know, a serious movie. Like, if it's going to be soft porn, just let me know.
Yes. Right, before I tune in, before I get in there and like, what is all of this?
Yes, exactly, yes.
I feel you, Mimi. Well, thank you again as always. We appreciate your call. We appreciate your input in person, on the phone lines, in the chat, wherever you want to spread it. We love hearing from you.
And thank you for your comment. I really, really appreciate that.
Oh, thank you. I love the show. And can I say something?
Absolutely.
I love you, Jill.
Oh, thank you. You're so sweet.
And one other thing. I love Trent.
Thank you.
I love Trent. And I got my fingers crossed, hoping that you all make this, you know, like a thing, like Monday through Thursday. I'm just saying.
Well, right now, we are, holla at the boss man. That's what Andy said. Right now, you know that you are locked in on Wednesdays. Wednesdays, the Keep It Real friend is right here in the building. So, you know, make sure that you're checking in and letting them know.
I will.
Thank you so much, Mimi. We appreciate you.
Okay, thank you.
I totally appreciate that conversation, that compliment, everything. And just to mention what she said, I wasn't going to do this tonight, but I think it's the perfect opportunity to do that. I live my life a certain way on purpose. As a gay person, I try not to feed into the stereotypes because, you know, we have too much of that. And in my own experience, what I do know about black people and as a black gay person is that we are some of the most respectful, accepting people of all time. And Mimi was the perfect example. We just need to know what we're getting into and no surprises. And I think I said that last time when we first talked about the show with Secret Society 1 and 2. It's just we need to know exactly what we're getting into to decide how far we're going to go.
Exactly.
And I think also as a gay person, when you give a different representation and give people something different to see, they can respect it and understand it a lot better. And I live my life on purpose like that. I go into environments and I lead with being a black male first because that's important, right? And I make sure I don't buy into these stereotypes to let people know that just because you are black and gay, you don't have to be this flamboyant, over the top person, you know. And there's nothing wrong with that if that's your expression and your representation. But as it's already been previously stated, that's not the only expression that exists.
Okay, shout out to that. We love that. So, The Dirty D.
Yes.
That's another Tubi series. Yes. There are seasons 1 and 2. I checked out episode 1 of season 1, and it was interesting. It was so
high
basically
crime.
High crime. You know, it's a crime drama. It takes place in Detroit. It's about a power couple that own a nightclub. I think the guy's name is Brick. The wife's name is Tiffany. And they run with an iron fist, but they don't mind illegal activities running throughout their club. And it's about the ups and downs, the shadiness that the bottle girls and the customers and all of that get into. And so kind of to I think it was T. Swarns last week that made this reference to us. And kind of to Mimi's point, you know, it's an early series. It is a new series by what are some new filmmakers, I would imagine, or TV makers. So you need to be patient with it. I love crime dramas. Shout out to Power Book 2, Raising Cain, all of that. I'm there. I'm locked in. I like it. Snowfall was my jam, etc., etc., etc. We'll see if I return back next week. I kind of towards the end of it, I was like, okay, I'm kind of here, but kind of not. I'm not sure. When we come forward, Trent, we'll get your take on the Tubi film. And we are going to briefly discuss something that is bubbling over under and can only be discussed at last call here on RSVP with Jill Munroe.
RSVP with Jill Munroe is your go-to show for staying in the know. More engaging conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hollywood Walk of Fame stars in 2024. Stay tuned to find out who's in next year's class. I'm Aisha Cairo with your K-Black Minute News. A new group of 31 entertainment professionals across film, television, radio, recording, and sports entertainment will have their names etched into Hollywood's history in 2024. One of the most celebrated names on the list was the beloved Chadwick Boseman. Others for the class of 2024 in Hollywood Walk of Fame was this year's Oscar winner Michelle Yeoh in the motion picture category. Other notable names include Chris Pine, Gwen Stefani, Andre, Dr. Dre, Young, Otis Redding, Christina Ricci, Brandy Norwood, Harry Washington, and more. The dates for the star ceremonies have not yet been scheduled. To find out all 31 inductees, visit youtube.com/Walk of Fame.
You're listening to K-Trip, where we play all the best classic water-wasting hits like Sprinklers in the Rain and Leaky Faucets. They're tunes from another time because now that we face a hotter, drier future, every drop counts. Despite an extremely wet winter, keep using less water, fixing leaks, and reusing indoor water for your garden. Visit SaveOurWater.com for more ways to conserve. Up next, brushing your teeth with the water on.
K-Trip. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action is the youth component of the impactful CBO, known as the Community Coalition. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action has chapters at almost every South LA high school. Say Yeah, as they are popularly known, is located at 80th and Vermont, but serves young people all over South LA. Under the COCO umbrella, they train youth organizers, help underserved scholars prepare for college, and work with students to help them gain admission to top universities. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action fosters teen activism, where young people have led campaigns moving tens of millions of dollars to South LA schools and forcing officials to make AP classes available to students in under-resourced institutions. SCEL scholars have taken part in the March on Washington, been published in major news outlets, and been elected to city council. Long before she was mayor, Karen Bass started the program when she founded the Community Coalition. To donate, volunteer, or enroll a student in South Central Youth Empowered Through Action, please visit cocsouthla.org. cocsouthla.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to more captivating conversation on RSVP with Jill Munroe.
Hey, it's Jill Munroe. You are checking out RSVP with Jill Munroe right here live on KBLA Talk 1580. Now, before we get to Trent's reaction of the Tubi series, The Dirty D, wanted to let you know that there's some albums dropping on Friday. We mentioned Nas. He's coming out with an album. I think Ice Spice, is dropping. There's also a video remix of something that's coming out. And there's one other artist. Oh, there is Buzz. It's alleged, maybe, possibly, if you've been checking out Apple Music, that Jennifer Lopez might also be dropping a surprise album on Friday or single of some sort as well. There's a couple of others, we'll get to those tomorrow. But Trent, let me tease what we're going to talk about after we discuss Trent's reaction to the Dirty D2. There is a former NBA player, All-Star, NBA champion, who is being accused of sexual assault. And the story's kind of complex. So we're going to get into that. But Trent, what did you think about Dirty D?
I love a good ratchet story. And
Okay.
I really do. And I love Detroit. Never really been to Detroit proper, okay? So I'm fascinated with any story that comes out of Detroit, because I hear all these crazy rogue things about it.
I almost got beat up in Detroit.
See, there's always a story. You got to ride around with guns. You can't stay in. So I want to know, and the most accurate description possible. So I'm here for it.
Okay.
I'm here for it. And I'm going to finish it and get into it some more.
Okay, so remember, we're going to check out Cinnamon for next week. If you guys have
For
another suggestion on Tubi that you think that we should check out, you can hit us up. Hit us up at our social media. I'm at Stiletto Jill everywhere across the board. Trent the Artist. Hit him up, make those suggestions. And KBLA social, KBLA 1580. You can leave a secret message on the app. There's all sorts of ways to get that information. So make sure you do that. And next Wednesday, we'll be going over another Tubi movie. Now, there was a story that dropped late this evening, right? And it's obviously a little controversial. We're talking about it late because the details are pretty deep. And again, it is alleged. But according to Radar Online, there's a man named Stephen Harper who has filed a lawsuit against former NBA star Dwight Howard regarding an alleged assault and battery charge. And it stemmed from Harper allegedly not wanting to participate in a threesome with Howard. The suit alleged that on July 19th, 2021, 2 years ago to the day, Howard reached out to Harper to tell him he was thinking about that meat. So there's some more things to it, but Trent, you looked at this from a different angle, and I wanted you to share what your thoughts were.
Again, as a Black gay person, no, it's a very layered thing because we know that as men, we already can't express emotion, and then we have this thing where we have to, be straight, be a certain way. So I can just about imagine trying to figure out your sexuality and being thrust into the public spotlight and
are you talking about Dwight or the alleged victim? Okay.
And you can't really be who you are, and you are in a arena where it's masculine, male dominant. You can't show any signs of anything. So it kind of creates a culture that we have, this DL culture, okay? And for women, it's okay to explore your sexuality. You can kiss a girl and you like it. There's a whole song about it.
Katy Perry.
A guy can't do that
right.
and not be gay.
Right.
Okay?
Absolutely.
That's just what it is. Okay? So this is where we live. But it also creates situations such as this one where we have men that play on both sides of the field and situations like this get exposed. And it's kind of the reason why people don't come out the closet. It's kind of the reason why people don't claim gay one way or another because of the label and the stigma that goes along to it. So, it's unfortunate that people, have these type of encounters and they don't have a trust factor around them where things like this, don't get out. And there's not a safe space for them to explore and figure out whatever it is that they're working through.
But see, one of my things with Dwight, and I respect and understand everything that you said, but one of my things with Dwight is that for some odd reason, sexuality has always been a part of his career story. Whether it's when he first got in the league, when he went big and hard about being a Christian and not having sex and all of these things, which we found out a couple of years later that wasn't exactly what was happening. The other thing that is, there were stories about him and porn stars years and years and years ago. There was a porn star, Mary Carey, that came out, and she's named Mary Carey because they say she kind of looks like Mariah Carey. But anyway, randomly I met this woman on a plane. That's a long story.
You know some of everybody. I
do not know her. We just and her friend happened to be. I was coming from NBA All-Star.
Of course,
and they
you
happened
are.
to be on the plane with me.
See,
It's so weird and random.
Stories.
But I mean, my point with Dwight is that he has an ex-girlfriend, Royce Reed, who is also his oldest child's mother.
Yes.
And she was featured on Basketball Wives. And recently she came out because there's a video of Dwight that surfaced about a week or two ago with one of his sons, and he was training him and he was working out, and it was questions as to whether he was being a good parent because he was kind of putting him through military paces. And Royce said, because they've had some legal battles and other battles, they used to really go at it on social media. Watch for the hook. She said, Dwight always does this when he is trying to deflect from something, and that something big is about to break, and that is why he is putting these type of things out. And sure enough, true to form, a week later, this happens. And so I think there have been situations throughout Dwight's career. This isn't the first time a gentleman has come out and made accusations about Dwight. And I think it's just really sad that he has to fight so hard to be the person he wants to be. And I think, too, it also makes me sad. Obviously, if this person was assaulted, no one wants that. No one deserves that. And that should never happen. But I do often wonder why the first response, especially in this era, and this is male or female, but why the first response is to take it to the media and shame this individual. If you want people to be accepted and we don't want to treat people as gay as a pariah or a stigma, why is your first thought, in order to hurt this person, to expose them for being gay? And I understand they may have hurt you, but I just kind of question that, because it demonizes the very thing which you are too, in a way that is kind of, hurtful to yourself too, because you were saying innately that there is something wrong with having a relationship with you, and you are shading this person using these means for it. So I kind of I do get it. I get people are hurt people, revenge, but I kind of don't get that approach when it comes to that.
Yeah, I think it's simply what you said. It's just you hurt me, now I'm going to hurt you back. But also too, just reading what I read about the lawsuit is that, sir, if another man is coming on to you and clearly coming on to you and you're not with it, I'm not going to his house for any reason.
Absolutely.
I'm not putting myself in a situation. So for me, you knew what was going on and you used this as an opportunity to come up. Maybe it's a money grab, okay? Because if I'm a straight person, okay, and I know that somebody is on the fence, I'm not going to their house. Or for instance, let's just flip it. If I know that a woman is trying her hardest, her prowess to come at me and I'm not interested, I'm not going to the house, no matter what it is. Because you don't know what type of situation you're walking to once you get there. And again, he could have engaged and could have, a money grab or whatever. Dwight didn't want to comply, and then we have this. So we don't know. There could be a lot of things, but the ultimate thing is it's unfair that people can't be themselves and they have to put themselves in situations. But then it goes to, he's been dealing with this a long time.
Yeah. He's
had an image to uphold, which is why, and you think about, all his issues with Royce and every other woman he's dated, because you're not into women. So if you got it's a layered thing.
Royce said that he wanted her to move in. He was saying that he really loved her. He messed up with her, and he wanted her to move in and be the head of his sort of love compound where she would be the head mistress. That's what Royce said. So.
And it's believable, because when you got stuff like this going on with Kitty and Henry and Harmon and all this stuff, this is, come on, it's a part of what you do, and there's again nothing wrong with that. But if you're going to be in situations as such, you need to understand who you're engaging with and not engage with people who don't have as much to lose as you do.
That's right. And you know what I always say, don't do that. Opportunity cost, baby. Make sure that they have as much to lose as you do. Well, before we wrap up, just remember, when you come forward, you will be checking out the best of KBLA, and we'll be back tomorrow night with more trending topics and headlines and entertainment, sports, and culture. VIPs, thank you for rocking with us. We've had such a great time tonight. Of course, we'll have more sizzling headlines, more, and then some more. I appreciate you. Thank you for rocking. You are listening to KBLA Talk 1580.